Most people probably aren't familiar with this book, The Official LSAT Prep Test with Explanations. It's from February 1997, and it is out of print, available used on Amazon. Why do I know about this book? It's because, frankly, of course, I'm obsessed with the LSAT. And if you want to go all in on your LSAT prep and achieve a top score, you've got to be obsessed with the LSAT as well. And that requires going beyond the LSAT prep tests that are readily available in LSAC's Law Hub, the ones that are readily available in your bookstore or directly from Amazon from their warehouse. And instead, you've got to go to third-party sellers to track down those rare, hard to find LSAT prep tests. Now, again, this book I mentioned, you can actually get it quite easily if you simply search. There are over 10 copies available at the moment for less than $10. And I posted about this on TikTok a little while ago, and somebody was like, paying $10 for a single LSAT prep test? That's crazy. That's unreasonable. That's privileged. And my thought on that is, listen, if you want to go the extra mile and you want to do every single exam ever released, more power to you. A small investment now in getting one more LSAT prep test, especially one that already has LSAC written explanations, it's well worth it. If it gets you even a single point more on the LSAT, that could lead to thousands of dollars in scholarship money, getting into a better law school, possibly both. Back when I was studying for the LSAT, I wanted to do every single LSAT prep test ever released, and there were only 40 something available at the time. Now there are more than double that number, nearly 100 LSAT prep tests. And so I recommend, of course, going the extra mile. That doesn't require necessarily doing all 100 prep tests or so, but if you do at least 50, 60 of them, you'll be well on your way to better seeing the patterns in the exam. Of course, most are available in Law Hub, but if you want to get even more, if you're worried about burning through valuable material, it is, of course, worth seeking out those rare out-of-print exams, and it is worth doing every single prep test ever released. Of course, if you're taking the LSAT after June, you can disregard logic games entirely. Starting with the August LSAT, it's going to be just logical reasoning and reading comprehension. That's only doing 3 LSAT sections out of the 4 in the majority of published prep tests. Now, how do you go the extra mile in your prep beyond just doing prep tests and beyond just acquiring them? Of course, first you acquire them, then you got to actually do them, then you've got to review them. And so review is not simply reading explanations or watching videos. I recommend you level up your prep by writing your own LSAT explanations to ensure that you are able to articulate your thought process, to articulate your understanding of the question and your method of reasoning. You could even write your own LSAT questions from scratch. I learned a ton when I wrote my own unofficial LSAT logic games of all different types, ordering, various types of grouping, and I learned a lot about how LSAT designs clever tricks and traps to lure the unsuspecting test taker into a trap and leave them walking away feeling confident when they've actually chosen the wrong answer. They can be really, really sneaky about this, and so if you design those traps, you'll be better able to spot LSAC's traps that they lay for you when you take, of course, your actual official LSAT exam. For logical reasoning, you might try reframing one question type as another. So for example, if you struggle with strengthening questions, but you're really good at weakening questions, you can easily just flip the answer choices from one type into another. In some cases, you may want to reframe the stimulus in logical reasoning to be from an argument into a fact set, for example, a resolve the paradox question. Of course, a lot of this applies more if you're taking the LSAT in August or later, when the LSAT's going to have 2 scored logical reasoning sections, which means any gains you make in logical reasoning will be automatically doubled as there are going to be 2 scored sections of it. And of course, that will allow you to narrow the focus of your prep, disregarding games entirely and going deeper on the remaining 2 sections. Now, of course, going all in on your prep is beyond just acquiring the material, and it's beyond just how you study. It's also about actually putting in the time. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. Make sure you block off the time in your calendar, in your schedule, especially considering other obligations you might have. And so if you're in college, maybe you want to take a lighter course load during this semester that you're studying for the LSAT. If you're working full time, try to avoid doing overtime. If you can, talk to your boss, get them to give you a lighter workload during the months you're prepping for the LSAT. And regardless, you might want to sacrifice your weekends. Don't go out during the weeks you're studying for the LSAT so you can wake up early on the weekends and put in more time. Now, of course, at LSAT Unplugged, one thing we do for all of our students is help you design a personalized day-by-day study plan, laying out exactly what to do every single day, when to do questions by type, when to do timed sections, when to do full-length practice tests in the lead up to the exam, considering when you're starting and when you're ultimately going to take the LSAT. If you're interested in finding out more about how we can support you, you can check out the links below the video to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd be glad to help you out. And if you found the video helpful, please do me a favor and share it with someone who needs to see it. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.